Hey guys, what's up? My name is Ben. I don't know where you're at with faith, with family, but we love family here at Legacy Makers. And guess what? We believe that if you can change your family, you can change the world. You see, part of God's great design for discipleship actually starts around the family table. If you look in the Bible, there's scripture after scripture where God tells his people to make sure they remember to instruct their kids on how to live with the Lord. To tell their kids about who God is and what God's done. To tell their grandkids and their great-grandkids. Tell your kids, don't forget. He said it over and over and over again. There's a story about this guy named Joshua. And if you know Joshua, he was given the baton of leadership from Moses to take the Israelites from the desert across the Jordan and into the promised land. And here's Joshua. He's got the baton. He's done all the great stuff. He's ready to take the Israelites into the promised land. And then they get in there and he's distributing all of the land and the inheritances to each of the tribes. He's successful. And the entire generation with Joshua, they love and they're so thankful for God for all that he's done. And if you look in Judges chapter 2, verses 6 through 11, you'll see that the generation with Joshua, when they became of age, they died. And then the very next generation, it says, another generation grew up that neither knew God nor followed his commands. They turned away, they rebelled, and they started serving images of other gods. The very next verse, there was no break, there was no story, it was just like bam. The next generation didn't know God. What happened? What happened was that when the Israelites were going through the desert, and they were stripped of their idols, and they saw God do all these awesome things, and they finally made it to the Jordan, and they were finally ready to enter the promised land. They couldn't wait. And Joshua takes them through the Jordan River and into the promised land, and here they are, the greatness that has awaited them. They could finally start building their own houses instead of living in tents. They could finally start creating farms and growing gardens and raising animals instead of eating the manna in the desert. And they could finally buy and sell and become merchants. And in the midst of all of these great things, they got distracted and they forgot to tell their kids about God and about what he did for them and about who he is and how much he loves them. They forgot. And nothing is new under the sun, right? Here we are thousands of years later. More and more dads and parents are abdicating their responsibilities. Societal issues are growing at an exponential rate. It's insane. And we've lost our way. Technology in the modern world has us more distracted than ever. We're forgetting. We've lost our way. And what about you? See, I think there's another way. I think that we can live with intention. I think that we can set a new trajectory that will last generations. I think that we can break the cycles. We can build strong marriages. And we can raise kids that we're proud of. I have no greater joy than to know that my children are walking in the truth. I have no greater joy than that. And those things can be our legacy. Those things can be your legacy. See, at Legacy Makers, we believe that family is the foundation of society, and if you can change your family, you will change the world. Your family can change the world. Legacy Makers helps families define a shared purpose, live with intention, and create multi-generational legacies. if you do the math, let's say you have 4 kids. Let's just take, hypothetically, you have 4 kids, okay? And then you are intentional about raising those 4 kids to be passionate followers of Christ. And then you teach them how to do that with their kids. And they do that with their kids. And so on and so on and so on. In 12 generations, in a matter of 12 generations, which is just over 200 years, from one family, you'd have 16 million followers of Christ. From one family. Your family can change the world. And if we change enough families, then we will change the world.